in Congress.
Well, his career, essentially. Yeah, he lost his whole
Yeah,
career. Yeah.
because and then you say, well, what could a person like Huma Abedin see in him? She's bright, she's intelligent. Okay,
He's
um,
bright and intelligent also. What does that mean?
yeah, but you mean
Yeah,
when they
man,
would?
that's a bright dude. I'm sure he was really good at the parties and the functions and all of that, and speaking to people and all of that stuff. I'm sure he's probably charming. He probably
He
gets
cert
he
he
probably
cert
makes his hay.
he certainly pulled the wool over everybody's eyes. Let me tell you that. You know,
Yeah.
Yep, and he checked himself into a
he went into rehab, didn't he, for a
rehab.
while?
Yeah, no, he's in it now. He checked himself into rehab now.
It,
That's
then I'm surprised you didn't see him.
Yeah,
well, we don't. I
at
can't
some
afford the
point we're gonna
place
have
he
to
goes
lock up
to.
these sex rehab places. These sexual rehab places, we got to lock them up someday, man. They're stealing money like, man. They're robbing the hell out of people who are in PR crisis and need a good headline. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I'm
Sex rehab,
I'm
man. Come on.
thinking that no, I'm a conspiracy theorist guy. So this is what he did. He gave the FBI those
Serva,
emails.
yeah.
He said, "I'll go into rehab. I'll testify. Be easy on me."
Basically, that's what he did. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
You know who I feel bad for, really? I really feel badly for his wife. Because, I mean, maybe he was able to pull the wool over her eyes when they were dating, and even at the beginning of their marriage. And then when this stuff came out, she honestly believed him, you know. And then, it's rather embarrassing when the truth finally comes out. And what do? They tried to work through their marriage. You're in the public eye, you know. Nothing is really a secret. And then he goes and does it again.
And again,
Well, that might be in the future, yeah.
no, he did it once. He got caught how many times already?
Who the hell knows? I don't have that many hairs on my
Yeah.
head,
Yeah, that's true.
you
And,
know.
and, and who knows if the reconciliation was just keeping it up for images? Who knows? But I mean, he committed the fundamental sin of relationships, man. One thing your woman will not tolerate is you embarrassing her publicly.
That's
And
right.
look, I've seen dudes come back from cheating more than I've seen dudes come back from embarrassing a woman publicly in front of all of her friends and all the people that know her and make her kind of infamous. So I mean, once you do that, man, I don't even know what you're really putting back together.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know, I don't know if it was Mother Teresa or Eleanor Roosevelt who said, you know, I may not remember what you said, but I'll never forget how you made me feel. Okay? Um, and that's so true because you might forgive somebody for the words that they said, but at the time, you'll never forget how they made you feel at that time. Okay? And for somebody like this who really has to prove himself, to keep trying to prove himself again and again, I mean, for me, enough is enough. You know,
Hey, man, we've all been there where you're taking a bite of a hamburger or something, and you look over at your woman, and she's looking at you with that look about something you did 6 months ago or maybe a year ago or whatever, that she either hasn't forgotten or, like you said, hasn't forgotten how you made her feel. And, some of that stuff, man, hey, you just got to eat it. It ain't going away. She is not letting loose of some of that stuff that you did.
well,
Like, that's just what
Naj,
it is.
we have a female on the line. Elisa, how would you feel? Okay, somebody, if you were Huma Abedin, okay, God forbid you were married to Anthony Weiner, and you were going through this, what would your reaction be?
I cut his balls off.
Ah,
There we go.
a Lorena Bobbitt. All right. A Lorena Bobbitt. That's it. Well, I don't know if I told you that. I said this a long time ago. My mom used to work at Peninsula Hospital. Okay. And there was a story going around the hospital which happened to be true. You may remember this, Elisa, but I know Naj never heard it. Woman was working, basically, she's working the 3 to 11 shift, okay? And her husband worked during the day. And she had a feeling that something was going on. So during her dinner break, she didn't live far from where she worked. She went home, tiptoed through the door, and found her husband making love to a woman. I don't know if it was a friend or not, I forget. But she went home, plotted this whole thing out. She wound up going home one early evening, and he was sleeping. Okay, he was taking a nap after a shower. And she crazy glued his hands to his balls.
Damn.
Yeah. And it was called into the hospital, and they brought him into the hospital where she worked. Now, she wasn't embarrassed, but he certainly was, I mean, and that's a true story. A true story.
Hey, you gotta be careful out here, man. That is crazy.
I don't care how mild-mannered a person is, especially a woman. And I'm not saying this because, women, women have, I don't get angry. I get even. Okay. I don't get mad. I get even, and it may take a year or so, but they'll plot and plan this whole thing out, and eventually you're going to get caught with your pants down,
Damn.
I don't know.
Gotta be careful.
Let me tell you. You see now, I can honestly say, because I'm saying this about myself, all right? At 68 years old, and I know you're going to crack up, Naj, I can't even find mine anymore, okay? I
understand, man. You retire at a certain age, man.
I was thinking of getting a penile implant just so I could find it. So when I go to the bathroom, I don't have an accident. See, that's one thing that the kids today don't understand. You got to learn how to crack jokes about yourself. So many times in school, the kids would get angry and get into a fight. And why? Because he or she said something about me. And I said, so what? They know they're going to get a rise out of you, and they know that you're going to lose your cool, So the bottom line is, why give them the satisfaction? It's just that simple. The kids used to say to me, why do you keep calling yourself short and bald? I said, well, have you looked at me lately? I looked at myself in the mirror. I said, I no longer look like I'm 6 feet tall and have a full head of hair and weigh 185. That was when I started teaching. Now I know what I am. I'm 5'3". I have no hair and I got a paunch. I mean, so they say, well, why do you put yourself down? I said, because if I do it, that takes away a weapon from you. You could say anything you want. You're not going to get a rise out of me. I've heard it all before.
Yeah, take the gun out the hand. Yeah, definitely get that one, man. It works.
Yes, it does.
Like you said, though, I don't know, a little self-depreciation, I guess it shows humility no matter what, man. Got to be able to laugh at yourself, too, so.
You really do.
Hey.
Life is too short and too serious sometimes, and I used to say, hey, if I have to be the brunt of a joke to put you in a good mood, so be it. I used to have a supervisor who said to me, Mr. Kinnickson, you ever think of doing comedy when you retire? She said, stand up. I said, no, when I retire, it'll be sit down because I'm going to drag a chair out there and I'm going to sit down on the stage. You won't find me walking around the stage. I'll sit down, have my water. But the bottom line is, people like when you make fun of yourself. They don't like when you make fun of them. Unless you also take the time to make fun of yourself, And,
yep.
if you follow comedians today, they all do it. They all started out that way. You know, who was it? I wish I could remember her name. There was a slightly overweight Italian comedian who I used to watch on the Comedy Network all the time, and they used to bleep out half the stuff that she said. And she says, she used to say, "Now you know how I like my blacks," she said. "I've had more black inside of me than blah, 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 blah," you know. And the audience is cracking up. And then she'll crack jokes about gays, or she'll crack jokes about Italians, you know.
Yeah, I
She
know
was,
you're talking about the roast lady. I don't know her name, but she was on a bunch of roasts. I know
yeah,
who you're talking about.
you know, I mean, the bottom line is, and what's his face? Although he wasn't as racy when it came to cursing, but, um, oh shit, I can't remember his name. The old comedian, real old. They've had roasts with him and everything. No, he's
Oh,
alive.
Rickles?
Rickles, Don Rickles,
Rickles?
yes. Mr. Personality, you know, Mr. Nice. But he also says, just like there used to be a comedian that my mom loved. He was also short and chubby. And at the end of the show, they'd come up to you and they would say, you know, they'd give you some passes somewhere or whatever if they were in Vegas. And they say, "Listen, if I didn't like you or I didn't think you could handle it, I wouldn't have said anything." You know, and they apologized. But, you know, if you go to some of these comedy clubs and you're sitting in the front row, boy, you're fresh meat. You know, you got to figure that you're going to be picked on.
Oh, yeah. And you know, it's really good at some of the good ones now who can, like, really get a heckler. When you got somebody heckling and the comedian just starts getting into them, it makes the show better. Hell, really. If you got a comedian who can handle it. If you got somebody who can't handle it, it ruins everything. But somebody who can handle a heckler, that gets real interesting.
I think that's the first thing you have to learn as a good comedian. You know, that there are going to be people out there who don't appreciate what you're saying, don't like what you're saying. And you only make matters worse if you start picking on them or say anything about them. Just let them go through their shit, and that's it.
Yeah. By the way, talking about hecklers, did you guys, anybody hear Hillary when that heckler started bothering her?
No,
I didn't see it.
Yeah, she started screaming and yelling.
Well, I have to say that the new Donald Trump, he had a heckler the other day, might have been today or yesterday at one of his rallies, and people started to get on the person, and he said, "No, it's not how we treat people here." You know, that was after he kept telling himself, "Now, stay on message, Donald. You know, stay on message." You know.
Yeah, well, he's definitely staying on message right now, and
Good for him.
And you know, as Hillary said, when the other guy is down, you brings it down. We bring it up.
Not this week.
Not this week.
Not this week.
No, she's.
In fact, one of the commentators even said they were talking to Senator Claire McCaskill, and he said, "What happened to Michelle Obama's comment? You know, when they go low, we go high."
Exactly.
You know, I mean, and there really is no answer for that because this election is down in the gutter already.
Yeah.
But speaking of which,
yeah.
What did you think of Melania's talk yesterday?
Well, you know, cyberbullying.
Yeah, and who's the biggest cyberbully around this day and age right now?
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it's true. But she was talking about kids.
But the bottom line is, her husband doesn't even need a reason to cyberbully you. You know?
Yeah, well, I don't think.
Look, I understand what she's saying, and if he's elected and she wants to, you know, cover that or make that her thing as first lady, I can understand that because you hear too many stories of young teenagers killing themselves, committing suicide, or